Hey everybody, welcome back to Yoga Mat Virtuoso. If you're a yoga teacher looking to improve your sequencing or refine your cueing or even just sort of deepen your practice as a yoga teacher, you're in the right place. My name is Colin and I break down popular yoga videos on YouTube uh, using, I've got about 25 years of yoga teaching experience, and I use that to take a look at things that could use a little bit of work. Some like what we call yoga teacherisms, things that yoga teachers tend to say that sometimes are perfect, sometimes just make perfect sense, and sometimes not so much. Today, I'm going to actually do a viewer request. Somebody in the comments suggested I check out videos by a woman named Charlie Follows. Now, I know nothing of Charlie at all. The only thing I did was scroll through her homepage and try to find a video that I thought would be good. I picked one called Intermediate Power Yoga Flow Strong Full Body Yoga. Why are these titles always such a mouthful? Anyway, I chose that one mostly because I've been doing kind of more like beginner oriented videos, and I thought it might be fun to do something a little bit more challenging. And then I also thought the length was good. It was about a 23-minute video, so I thought that would be handy. So let's have me shut up momentarily, and we will hand it over to Charlie. Charlie, take it from here. It's all the floor is yours until I interrupt you, which I'm guaranteed to do.
Hello and welcome to this 20-minute intermediate power yoga flow. This is a fast and dynamic practice with postures to help improve your strength, flexibility, and challenge your balance. When you're ready, we'll begin standing at the top of the mat.
So right off the hop, good that she said, this is. She didn't come right out and say, this is not for everybody, right? She didn't come out right out and say, maybe this practice is not for you. She didn't say that, but she did say it's going to be challenging strength and balance. It's she basically without saying so was like, heads up, this might be hard. And I appreciate that. I think that's good. I think it's a really good idea to be straight up with people. If something is going to be challenging, let them know it's going to be challenging.
So set your feet hips width, then rock
Hips,
forwards,
hips width. She's British, I think.
lift your heels, come right up onto the balls of your feet.
Bowls of your
And
bowls.
then lower the heels back down, shift the weight back through the heels, and lift all 10 toes. And spreading your toes wide one by one, lower your toes down to the mat and grip the mat with your toes.
Did she just say grip the mat with your toes? Why would she say that? I'm not sure I understand that. Grip the mat with your toes. Why are we gripping? We're gripping?
Relax your shoulders and turn your palms to face forwards. Inhale.
Palms to face forwards. Why? Why are we facing the palms forward? It doesn't make sense. It does not compute. Mountain pose is meant to be centered. It's meant to be symmetrical. It's meant to be somewhere in the middle, right? And if we are turning the palms forward, that means we're externally rotating the shoulders, bringing the shoulder blades together, tightening the back of the body and opening the front of the body. Turning the palms forward is a back bend. It's not mountain pose.
Lift the arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank.
We got a sun salutation.
Inhale, hold your plank. Exhale, chaturanga.
How long have we been doing vinyasa yoga derived loosely from Ashtanga vinyasa? How long in North America? 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, somewhere in there? I'm going to say like probably 1970s or so. So yeah, like now like 50 years worth. Why can we not pronounce Chaturanga Dandasana? Why why is it Chaturanga? Chaturanga. There's no in Sanskrit. There's no Chaturanga. Just say Chaturanga. It's so simple. It's so simple.
The first one will come down to the belly. Inhale as you lift your chest, finding cobra. Exhale, push back to down dog. Pause for a breath in.
Something that I'm noticing just off the hop here. Okay, first off, let me just say, nice looking downward dog. Okay, no issues. Looking good. Charlie, just based, unless she has a very big yoga mat, if that's just like a standard sized yoga mat, this is a very small person. This person is, and that doesn't mean you can't be a good yoga teacher. Please don't come at me, shorties. But this is I'm going to say she is like maybe 5 feet tall, 5'2" tops. This is a tiny little bodied person. And there are many of them, aren't there? Doesn't that kind of fit the mold of the standard North American? She's British, I think. But the standard sort of like Western yoga teacher. Tiny, skinny, athletic, ex-dancer, ex-gymnast, kind of you know what I mean? And yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we had a little bit more variety in terms of like the bodies that we see among yoga teachers? Wouldn't that be kind of a sweet thing? Wouldn't that be awesome? I think that'd be kind of awesome. No knock. Okay, look, if you're not tall, it's cool. It doesn't matter. But like, come on. I just sort of notice this all the time.
With your breath out, you could hop, step, or jump forwards.
A lot of really small people teaching yoga. Just small-bodied folks. I'm kind of a big-bodied guy, and I like it. I'm going to jump. I'm going to guess that she's going to do some more sun salutations. So I'm just going to kind of hop through here a little bit and see if there's something different happening. Okay, I'm guessing she's at the end of the sun salutations now.
Stand tall, lift your gaze. Exhale, bring hands to prayer, heart center.
She does a funny little rocking back and forth thing. She's not instructing us to do that, but she's doing it. Let me just bring you back a little bit here, just so you can check it out. You can see what I see. Watch right when she comes up into mountain pose.
Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Stand tall, lift your gaze. Exhale, bring hands to prayer, heart center. Then relax your arms by your side. Shift the weight into.
Okay, let's look. Okay, did you see the rock? There's this weird little rocking back and forth thing that's happening. That's strange. Look at the position here. Do you see her lower ribs are kind of jutting forward? She is in a standing back bend. It's subtle, but she is absolutely kind of throwing the front of her body forward here. I mean, it's not like that's a terrible thing to do, right? But it's not. It's also not particularly grounded or steady either. It's hyper open. It's got this back bendy thing going on to it.
The left foot, lift the right knee into your chest.
Okay, here we go.
Inhale. Exhale as you come through warrior 3. Pause for a breath in. Exhale, lower the foot down, lift the arms up, high lunge. Inhale. Exhale, cactus your arms, roll your shoulders back, broaden your chest.
That's a nice little vinyasa, nice sequence.
Exhale, straighten the front leg, arms reach forwards, fold halfway. If you're needing support, your fingertips could always come down to the mat or a set of blocks. Gaze down.
Could have told us to get a set of blocks ahead of time, if that was going to be the case. That might have been good. It's a funny thing 4 minutes into the practice to say, oh, by the way, you could put your hands down onto some blocks. Maybe before we start, suggest that people have some blocks handy. Also, let me just say this posture that she's in here. This is a modified version of Parsvottanasana, like a side intense stretch pose. It's like Uttanasana, but only on one side, only with one leg forward. But and she's sort of hybridizing that with Warrior 3. It's like a Warrior 3 torso and a Parsvottanasana lower half, although she's up on the toes of the back foot. So even that is a modified version of Parsvottanasana in the upper and the lower body. But this, I'm going to hope that she's going to give an instruction about what to do with this knee, because this knee, for her, she's almost hyperextending it, but she's not. This is a very strong person. She's got a very, she's strong. My guess is a background in dance or gymnastics, but a lot of strength going on. So she doesn't really hyperextend and lock out that knee joint, but a lot of people will. In a posture like this, there's a lot of weight coming down. This leg is doing a ton of work. If we're not giving some instruction on what to do with this knee, it's either going to bend or hyperextend. And that's true because it rhymes.
Pause here. Inhale. Exhale. Rebend the
You can actually see her knee bouncing up and down as she's like attempting to not hyperextend it, but we're not getting that instruction.
front knee. Plant the hands, then push the floor away. Bring your knee to your nose. Pause for a breath in. Exhale, extend the leg back, one leg plank. Inhale here. Option 2, keep the leg lifted as you lower through your chaturanga with your exhale. Inhale, come through to your back.
Chaturanga.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for a breath in.
Chaturanga Dandasana.
With your breath out, come to the top of the mat.
Let's see if she does the little
Exhale
rocky
all the
thing when
breath
she
out
gets up.
here. Then inhale, round your spine, roll all the way up to stand. And relax your shoulders. Shift the weight into the right foot, lift the left knee, inhale.
She did a little bit
Exhale
of a rock.
as you move through
Let's-
Warrior
let's- we-
3.
okay, we
Pause
get the
for a
sequence
breath
here.
in.
So let's skip
Exhale,
right
plant
through
the
to
foot, lift the arms
chaturanga.
up.
Ooh, she did a fancy
Exhale as you
thing.
chaturanga.
She did a little
Inhale,
float
find your
up.
back bend.
Watch this.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for a breath in. Exhale, hop, step, or jump to the top of the mat.
It's such a show-off move, isn't it? It really is. No hate. Okay, no hate. It's cool. That is good upper body strength, good core strength, good body awareness, generally speaking. This is the kind of thing that you can do much more easily if you are a small-bodied person, particularly one with a relatively sort of short torso and long arms. Okay, if you have that sort of short torso, long arm combo, that move, that little float up is going to come to you a lot more naturally. And I think as yoga teachers, we need to be kind of cautious. Let me jump out of this one. Let me jump out just for a second. We need to be kind of cautious here as yoga teachers, because very often, as a result of your proportions, the way your body happens to be put together, what you'll find is that there are some things that you can do that all you had to do is practice it a little bit and you got it, right? And then what happens? In your brain, you think to yourself, all you have to do is practice a little bit and you'll get it, right? Wrong. What if you didn't happen to have those proportions in the first place? Then the practice doesn't help quite as much, does it? Okay, so we really need to be careful that we're not like transposing our experience as practitioners on our students when we shift into the role as teachers. That's a thing. That's a real thing right there. Oh yeah, that happens a lot. A lot.
exhale as you fold here. Then rounding the spine, roll all the way up to stand.
I wonder if she always rounds the spine up.
Lift the arms, lift the gaze, inhale. Exhale.
Not only does she rock, she kind of flexes her hips and kind of pushes her chest forward in mountain pose when she takes her arms up. There's a lot of like rocky, swayy things happening.
Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. With your exhale, step the right foot back. Lower the knee for low lunge. Sink your hips down and forwards. Reach your arms up. Interlace the fingers. Point the index fingers to the sky. Cross left thumb over right for Kali Mudra.
Come on. Left thumb over right. That's... come on. It doesn't matter what direction you cross your thumb. So let's not pretend there's some kind of fancy thing happening there. That's a little silly. Whatever though, it's cool.
And slow down the breath a moment here as you sink the hips down and forwards.
It's just funny. Sorry, I can't let it go. It's just funny that we're gonna pretend like I have access to this sort of like secret knowledge of these mudras, right? And it's just like it's this special fancy knowledge, right? Left thumb over right thumb, and Kali Mudra, right? But we can't even learn how to pronounce Chaturanga properly. Right? Come on, I mean, it's got to be one or the other, doesn't it? Either we're taking this seriously enough that we're learning how to pronounce the postures properly, and then that carries over obviously into other areas, like mudras, right? These are more sort of sophisticated, more subtle practices. But I don't think we can have it both ways. We can't like not care about the pronunciation, but we do care about which thumb goes over which. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Charlie. I'm letting it go now.
Relax the arms by your side. Bring your front knee to stack the ankle. Right hand reaches back to catch the foot and draw it in towards you. If the balance is there, the left hand could take hold of the foot also. Option to stay upright so that the hips are in.
That would destroy my knee, by the way. Like for most, she's kind of like on the floor of a forest right now. Like she has this sort of like soft, mulchy pine needles and forest creatures patting her knee right now. If you're on a hardwood floor, that would suck. Man, that would be brutal. Can I get a foam block under the knee? Can I get a blankie? Can somebody fold up a sock and put it under my knee at least? My goodness.
In line relatively with the back knee, or you could sink the hips forwards. Slow down your breathing. Tune into.
I swear to God, my knee hurts just looking at this.
Slowly release the back foot. Plant your hands, step to plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, downward facing.
Two things. Two things. One is find your back bend. What? That's not a very good instruction, is it? Find your back bend. I think we can probably do better than that. The other one, should you call it downward facing? I notice this among yoga teachers sometimes. We will start to abbreviate the names of postures a little bit. Downward facing. Instead of saying, she says chaturanga. She gives us a poorly chaturanga. So she gives us, at least partial Sanskrit for one posture. But for the other one, instead of Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog or down dog, or, it's downward facing. Downward facing. I don't know. Shvana? Where's the dog part? Picky. That's just okay. That's too much. That's too much, isn't it? That's too much.
In With your breath out, hop, step, or jump forwards. Exhale to fold.
Very fancy.
Inhale, round the spine, roll all the way up.
She loves to
Lift
round.
the arms, lift the gaze.
And there's the
Exhale,
little
fold
rocky
forwards.
heel thing again.
Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, left foot steps back, lower the knee,
Okay, this
low
is the
lunge.
knee demolition
Sink
series.
the hips down,
I'm gonna
reach the
skip
arms
past
up,
this again.
interlacing the finger. Round your spine, roll all the way up to stand. Then turn to...
So I think it might be beneficial to sometimes round up to standing and sometimes like sort of unhinge or come up from the hips, keeping the back nice and long, just to sort of work on hip flexion, to work on strength or sort of a core stabilizing movement rather than rounding up every single time. I should watch more videos and just see if she ever does anything other than rounding up, because I'm curious now.
To face the side of your mat, step your feet wide into straddle. Hinge from your hips. Exhale as you fold forwards. Option to take hold of the big toes here and draw yourself deeper, bringing the crown of the head down to the mat.
Look at how narrow her stance is, how close her feet are together. Her left hamstring is tighter than her right hamstring. Look, this left hip is up higher than the right. But that's whatever, that doesn't matter. But the main thing is, look at how close the feet are together and the degree of flexion in her hips. Who can reproduce that? Who among us is going to do a posture that looks like that? Certainly not me. For a 40-year-old dude, I'm pretty bendy, but like, not going to happen. So, I mean, at some point, even though you say sort of intermediate flow, this is going to be a challenging practice. I get that, right? Okay, cool. But there's a lot of people up for a challenging practice, up for something quite difficult, ready for that challenge, but strictly just based on the biomechanics of their bodies, they are not able to do stuff like that. And there needs to be some kind of instruction given that sort of represents what your body might potentially look like if you don't have these God-given, genetically given abilities. No?
Lift the chest halfway, walk your hands to your left foot, and spin your feet to face the front of the mat. If your back heel is lifted, edge it forward so that you can ground the back heel down to find pyramid, then fold over.
Good instruction there, right? That's nice. We want that back foot grounded. Now she's in, so I said earlier she's in a version, like a variation on Parsvottanasana. Now she's in Parsvottanasana. This is the posture I was talking about earlier, and in more of like the classical version of it. Way more flexible than 80-90% of people, though. No people, it doesn't look like that when most people do it.
Over the front leg. Hollow the belly, draw navel to spine, relax chin to chest.
Why? Hollow to navel. Hollow, what'd she say? Hollow the belly, navel to spine. Why? Why? What would be the point of that? What I don't understand this. And this is something, okay, when you say it, you need to ask yourself, why did I say that thing? Okay? When you give an instruction, hollow the belly, navel to spine, you need to, when you teach yoga, you need to ask yourself, why did I give that instruction? What exactly do I want to happen with my students that makes me want them to hollow their belly and move navel to spine? What are we doing? What are we doing that makes that movement, that makes that action valuable or beneficial? And if you don't have an answer to that question, time to stop giving that instruction. Okay? If you got an answer, I want to know it. You let me know. You tell me. I don't think you do.
And the left hand will catch the back of your heel or ankle. Shift weight into the front foot as you lift the back leg up for standing splits. Point the toes. Extend all the way up through the leg.
Well, that's spectacular.
Down. Keep the right hand planted. Left hand will take hold of your big toe. Then open out into side plank on your right. Pick up the left foot. And you can either keep the leg bent or extend the leg up to find extended side plank. If you're needing a modification.
Extended side plank? What? Vashisthasana. Pose dedicated to the sage Vashista. That's easy. That's easy. Grab a copy of Light on Yoga. Do a reverse image search, right? Find a screenshot of somebody doing that pose. Put it into Google Images. You'll find the name of that pose. Let's not make up the names of postures, right? Let's not. What are we making up names for? It has a name. It's Vashisthasana. We can just call it that.
Here, right knee could be down as you extend the left leg up. Keep pressing the foot into your hand. Hold for a breath in.
She loves doing stuff that's just going to demolish your knee into the ground. That was a cool little transition, though. I like that. Did you see the transition? It was cool.
Walk the hands to the right foot.
We'll watch it. We'll watch it on the other side here.
And if your back heel is lifted, edge foot, you can either keep the leg bent or extend the leg up.
The way that she comes into it is cool, and well. Okay, here she's showing the knee crushing version. Now she's going to go back into the full. Good. Now watch the way she comes out of this. It's cool. It's kind of cool. And then rotating around back to Prasarita Padottanasana. Kind of sweet. Nice little sequence. Not many people can do that, but it is very cool, very flowy and fun.
Practice option to shift weight into the head and the hands and lift the legs.
Oh, geez.
Either keeping the legs in a straddle position or you could play around with sweeping the legs into splits on either side.
Well, geez, do we want to talk about headstand right now? Let's not get into it right now, but I have issues with teaching postures that could potentially result in a stroke. Boy, big difference between hamstrings. You really saw it there. But teaching postures that are potentially dangerous for people's necks online, where you can't see what they're doing, to me, strikes me as a little irresponsible.
Inhale, find your back bend of choice.
I hate that instruction.
Exhale, downward facing.
I hate that word to downward facing.
Inhale, lift the right leg high, open out the hip and bend the knee. Option to gaze under the right.
This is a modern day vinyasa yoga classic, this three-legged dog. People love that.
Breathing deeply, hold for an inhale.
Don't get me wrong, I kind of like it too. Actually, I do. But it's just one of these things that just sort of like, it's become ubiquitous. What's she up to now?
Creating a ledge and pause here. Option to extend the leg and perhaps shift your weight forwards to come to standing flying splits.
Flying splits. Here we're doing it again. We're just making up shit. We're making up names, right? Doesn't make any sense. Look it up. It's Kundinyasana. Right? Ekapada Kundinyasana. Right? This is... I don't know. It's not that hard. I'll look it up right now.
You could also practice this with the left knee down, just so you get familiar with the pose.
I'm going to find the name of this pose.
And step back to plank.
I'm going to find the name of this pose before she does the next side. Oh, now I got to friggin' hurry now. Come on. Come on. Where are you? I'm in the arm balances. There it is. Ah! Oh, she's going to beat me. Found it. I found it. We got there at the same time, Charlie. Good job. But yeah, Ekapada Kundinyasana. I was right. Okay. Look it up. Just look it up. If you don't know the name of a pose, look it up. Don't make up the name.
Then step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga.
Like, look, I mean, if you're just doing yoga, it doesn't matter. Call it whatever you want to call it. It's fine. If you're just hanging out doing yoga, it doesn't matter at all. Call yourself a yoga teacher, though. Look it up. Look it up. Do a little bit of homework. Look up the names of the postures. I'm telling you. Okay? I'm telling you. You need you need to look up the names of the postures, and it's not that hard. When you get introduced to a posture, and a yoga teacher says, this one is called flying splits. Do you really think the name of that posture is called flying splits? Do you really? Like, don't you know it probably has another name, and you know that that name is probably more connected to yoga history. It's more connected to the culture of yoga. It's going to be more connected to yoga's roots in India, right? More connected to Sanskrit. You know that there is a better name for it. So look it up. It's really not that hard to do. It's so easy, actually. Okay, sorry, I got away from things
Find
there.
more opening through the chest. This way.
Her hip flexion is phenomenal. That is, look at that angle. That's wild. I don't know what her hands are doing there. I'm not sure why that's going on. That's a little odd. You just going to stay there? Or flipping over onto our back. Let's check it out.
Hug your knees into your chest.
Okay, so we got now like a cool down sequence coming.
Together, or you could open them wide. If you're opening them wide, you could catch hold of the feet for happy baby. Either just staying in stillness.
There's another one, happy baby. That's another like modern yoga favorite, isn't it? You get a lot of happy baby these days. I don't call it happy baby. I call it dead bug. I think that sounds better. I like it. I don't like the idea of being a happy baby. I don't know why. It bothers me. I'd rather be a dead bug.
If you're in a happy baby, bring your knees together. Then keeping the legs bent, lower the feet down to the mat. Keep the feet together. Open your knees wide to find Supta Baddha Konasana.
So again, it's like we're sometimes we're using the Sanskrit and sometimes just saying screw it and making shit up. You know, I don't really fully understand. I'm glad the Sanskrit's there when it's there, but you know, it's like why I don't understand the selective nature of it. Is the rest Shavasana? Yeah, we're in Shavasana the rest of the way here. All right. Okay. So let's jump over and take a look at the sequence. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take notes here, and after I review the video, I will take a look at the sequence and get a breakdown for you. So here's that. Right there. Okay. So we are starting off in Tadasana. And then, so Tadasana and then Surya Namaskar are sort of the warm-up part of the thing. Then she jumps into like the main goods, and the main goods comprise here of Virabhadrasana 3, and then there was like a step back into that Parshvottanasana variation, and then down to Chaturanga. That was sort of her first vinyasa. The second vinyasa, she stepped back into a lunge. did the knee demolishing thigh stretch. Then she turned sideways, so we were oriented to the front of the mat in the opening, front of the mat for the first vinyasa, front of the mat for the second, turning sideways for the third vinyasa, which starts in Prasarita Padottanasana, which she did amazingly. Such a crazy amount of hip flexion, great hamstring flexibility, and more in the right than in the left, but who's being picky? I am. And then that was where she went into, so she's back. So she walks over to one side, does Parshvottanasana again. Then Prasarita Ekapadasana, that was like a standing split. She said she called it a standing split. And then from there, she did, I forget what she called, like extended flying side something. She made up a name for it. It was actually Vashisthasana that she did. And then was just basically kind of working her way back into Prasarita Padottanasana again, and then repeating that on the other side. And then basically into this sort of like she had some back bending there. She had Shalabhasana, like locust, and then into like this closing sequence with dead bug and Supta Baddha Konasana. So this is sort of what I would call like a sandwich sequence. So we've got like an opening and a closing. If you are sequencing a yoga class, what you can do is basically have a similar opening that you use for most of your classes, a similar closing that you use for most of your classes, and then you really only have to work on 2 or 3 little vinyasa sequences. Okay? So make sequencing really, really simple. It kind of like bakes things down pretty easy, where I know, and my students know too, it's going to be roughly the same opening and the same closing every time. That's the bread. And then I'm going to have this like, I'm going to have like a little something in the middle. I'm going to have me a little something in that sandwich. And that's the thing I need to prepare as a yoga teacher. That's the thing that I really got to kind of work on. Altogether, I'm going to say this, what this reminds me of is something that you see quite a lot of, actually. It is, and I've watched one video. Okay. So I'm not talking about her entire career as a yoga teacher. Okay. But what I'm seeing here is somebody with a combination of sort of a genetic gift, right? There's like there's particular proportions of her body that are very conducive to doing particular postures. That of a gymnast or a dancer. I'm seeing a relatively small body that's compact and easy to move. What looks to me, and I don't know, but I'm guessing with all this rocking back and forth that I'm seeing, I'm guessing a background in dance, probably. So years and years of training in dance classes and dance studios. So this to me, what I feel like is going on is we're looking at somebody who is picking up on yoga and relatively advanced yoga fairly quickly. Like it happened fast. And again, I know nothing. Maybe Charlie is, in her early 30s and has been teaching and practicing since she was 18 years old. Boatload of experience behind her, real possibility. Not my vibe, though. My vibe is she started practicing yoga probably not that long ago, and started teaching really quickly after that. And because it came so easy for her, she didn't really ever have to work all that hard thinking about, how do I make this happen? How am I going to do this thing? How do I work towards these postures? What are some things that I can do in the meantime while my body is adapting to something really ultimately, so extreme as, that Ekapada Prasarita Ekapadasana, that like standing split, that's pretty extreme. But she just sort of floated up there like it was nothing. And the impression is like, well, you should also float up there like it's nothing. Shouldn't you? Well, you shouldn't, right? So This is why, I honestly, I feel this, and I'm not anti short, flexible people. Some of my best friends are short, flexible people. But what does concern me though is that I don't see a lot of yoga from big, strong, sometimes relatively tight, short connective tissue type people. I don't see a lot of instruction from those people, but it's odd. People with chronic pain, people with disabilities. It's odd because when you have those things, instead of the genetic advantage, instead of the genetic privilege, when you have things that hold you back, you're forced to adapt. You're forced to think and work and try to. The postures become like a Rubik's Cube that you need to solve. Those people are given good instructions, right? Because they had to think of it, right? I think of like BKS Iyengar. He was really, really sick when he was a kid. His body was a wreck. It was difficult for him. It was hard. And so he really sort of had to come up with ways in which he could learn, how do I do this stuff? How do I get my body into these shapes? Not easy. Not easy. And as a result, lots and lots of thinking, lots and lots of effort. And as a result, good quality instructions. So something to think about. Not a knock on Charlie Follows at all here. Practice is gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Just really, really nice to look at. The way she moves in and out of these things, beautiful. Some of the vinyasas, some of the sort of like sequencing of postures, really nice. Like really nice. Pretty. Just really pretty. Cool to look at. Interesting. Stuff that I want to practice. I want to check it out. So good that way. But some of the instructions of the how to get there part, a little kind of fallen into some old patterns and old habits of a lot of yoga teachers, actually. So this is a really great one in terms of a case study. That was a really good one. As a result, I went a little bit long. This is a longer video than I'm used to. So, hey, look, thanks for watching, everybody. If you made it through to the end, congratulations. Remember to like the video. Give me a follow, drop a comment down there if you're like, oh, what you should do is check out this person, that person you would really like. Yeah, feel free, drop me a comment, and I am happy to check out any video you want me to check out. In the meantime, take it easy, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you around, everybody. Peace out. Bye for now.